Welcome to the show, everybody. My name is Pete Wright, and I'm here with Megan Strand.
Hey there.
And Dane Christensen.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, no, I'm trying to do sexy voice today.
We are, apropos of nothing, the Naked Marketers. Thanks for downloading, everybody. Let's see. What do we have to talk about today? Well, first of all, if you don't subscribe to the show on iTunes, if you're listening to this on the website, you should go to iTunes and subscribe for free. Best way to not miss a single episode of Naked Marketingness. And other than that, let's dig into it, because we have some interesting, if completely unrelated, stories to talk about today.
That is so true.
It is so true. What a hodgepodge, a potpourri of things to talk about today. But can we start with the detergent story?
Yeah, because I really like this.
This is my favorite one.
Can I talk about
Please talk about it. Can I do the accents?
Yes.
Oh,
okay.
yeah, that'd be great.
That's a great combo.
You start with that. I'll do the accents.
And let's role play too.
Okay. All right.
So Ad Age had a great article entitled, "Is Your Detergent Stalking You?" And essentially it goes on to detail out Unilever's laundry detergent brand called Omo in Brazil, this marketing promotion they're doing. And essentially what they're doing is seeding 50 of their detergent boxes in stores with a GPS device that will then allow its promotions agency to track these shoppers to their home and give them a video camera as a prize. So it's like, instead of like you open the cereal box and find a prize, yeah, the promotions agents comes to your house. They have literally 35 cities somehow staffed with people to go as soon as they get this notice that the box is lifted off the shelf, to like literally run as fast as they can to meet you at your house. And the funny part of the story, okay, so like it's a little bit weird to begin with, but the funny part is, as you continue reading this story, is that if you don't answer the door when some random promotions agency is knocking at it, I don't know if this is in theory or if this is actually going to happen, but this was stated in the article that the GPS device will start leaving off this buzzing noise that will probably scare the crap out of you. I don't know I don't know if this is supposed to validate the fact that this is a real promotion. So it's so funny to me.
It is so funny. The line that leads up to that is what really struck me, because it was this. Of course, Brazil has a high crime rate, and not everyone is going to open the door to strangers who claim to have been sent by her detergent to offer a free video camera.
Do the accent of
Mr. Figueiredo. Anything can happen. We have to be innovative, but we don't know what reaction to expect from consumers. Are you kidding me? You really don't know? You can't imagine. You can't just put yourself out there. You can't just say, I'm gonna speculate. There's gonna be an oh my god moment when my detergent starts.
My detergent starts beeping. I would like a GPS operated hand to come out of my shampoo and wash my hair every day if I could have it. But there are reasons I say no to that too. So
we have to be innovative.
One of the comments by Dano from Anytown, Michigan, who knows this is where this person's from, says, "I would consider this a severe invasion of privacy. Anybody who tracked me down from the store to my home would simply not survive." This is even funnier. "Congratulations, you're the lucky bang, bang, bang. I hate my job."
Okay, now in all seriousness, you guys, let's. Can you think of this is Unilever Omo in Brazil? But is there? Can you think of another opportunity, perhaps, domestically, where it would make sense to put a GPS in it? No.
No, I've been racking my brain through the whole time we've been talking about this story. Like, where would this be cool? And I can't come up with it.
I got it. In a puppy.
There you go.
Don't they have that? Isn't that what low jacking for puppies is? What's that called? Where you put a chip in a dog?
I don't know. 3-year-old twins.
3-year-old twins. You need to low jack your twins.
Yeah.
See, it's the thing is that what is so different about having a GPS on in the software you buy for your phone, and a GPS in the detergent for your clothes?
Because it has been given to a promotions agency to track you. That is the difference. That is the express
strangers tracking you.
Track you.
And doing it in one of the highest crime countries.
If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere.
Okay, here's your new job.
Oh, man. Well, I don't know. I think it'll be very interesting to follow, so to speak, this story and see how it plays out for Unilever.
I have to be innovative.
I have to be innovative. We don't know what's going to happen. Are you kidding?
We haven't really thought it through.
Let me tell you. We sat around the table and we said, I'm out of ideas. Let's start tracking people.
Innovate or die.
Oh my gosh. Okay, moving on. That's funny. Right. Funny for us. I don't know if our listeners think it's as funny as we do.
Keep going. What's next? Speaking of great ideas gone south.
I guess so. Yeah, Google is bailing on Wave, which I don't know what to make of that. Because the only reason I use Wave is actually for this show. We've kind of successfully been using Wave here to put the show together and communicate in real time while we put the show together. So I don't know. I thought, well, this is kind of cool. It's certainly not perfect. But anyway, yeah.
Why did they bail on Wave?
Okay, so here's what they're going to do. We don't plan to continue developing Wave as a standalone product. So through the rest of the year, I guess, they'll support it, but they won't be developing anything new. They're abandoning it, and I don't. Pete, maybe you know why they're not. I do know this, so here's a paragraph that jumped out at me. It's likely that Google will continue to use the technology born in Wave to enhance the products it was intended to replace, like Gmail and Google Docs. Docs already has an excellent real-time back-end sharing system that lets you see others' edits with very low latency. And Gmail continues to show itself as not only a robust web app, but a mini app platform with things like video chat, document editing, Twitter-like status updates, and cloud-based storage built in. So, I kind of, I guess, to answer your question, surmise that, perhaps
we're the only ones using it.
Well, but perhaps people aren't adopting the core products. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't think, I don't know. I guess at one point Google was going to replace those things. But maybe people get a little confused between, like, okay, do I use Wave and Docs and Gmail? Can I use, I mean, some of the features are in some or all of them are in each. You know, it's not that, it's not that it's that complex, but, I think if the initial intention was to get people migrating to using Wave as part of an adoption of the rest of the suite, let's call it a suite, but as sort of their core user interface for those, I suppose, right? Mm-hmm. That didn't happen. So I don't know, maybe it just wasn't the right approach, and maybe the technologies were interesting, but were being sort of parallel integrated into other products, and and Wave is the interface for using them.
I think that is part of the point that is really good, which is this was, from what I understand, the Wave team was a team out of Australia, Google Australia, that was really dedicated to building Wave and making it work, and yet there were parallel organizations inside of Google elsewhere that was going about integrating these sort of real time tools into Docs and the supposed Google Me social platform that's coming, but I think there's another issue, which is the launch of Google Wave was really puzzling. I think it's a great example of a product that was launched really half baked, not the technology, but Google's own internal concept of what Wave was supposed to do. They originally pitched it as something to replace email. It is not a tool to replace email. Doesn't make any sense.
Right.
And the fact that they released it before there was any ability for developers to create applications that plug into it to allow us to have like Wave clients that you had to go to the website, which was difficult to use and navigate and not intuitive at all, to actually, do the things like that you would expect to be able to do with an email client if you're going to replace email. It just didn't fly. And I think people got confused and didn't use it after that first or second try. And the last piece is, I think this is Google's, Google does this all the time. They release these, otherwise interesting, innovative, clever products, and they don't, they do this long, drawn out kind of invite only. The cool kids get invites, and then they can only invite one person in order to scale their beta testing, But in this case, I think it was held out so long, and Wave is one of those tools that you just can't use if you don't know anybody else on Wave. And so you have these people who are otherwise really interested in helping to get involved in the tool, and they have nobody to talk to, so they log in once, they put their little picture in there, and suddenly Wave becomes as immediate as it was that they got their invite, it is just as immediate that they realize it's useless. And so...
Well, now you can just invite people via email, but that's neither here nor there.
Well, now you can, but you couldn't for a long time.
Well, and we found it to be, I think it works well for our show, but it's a pretty isolated use, and it's already, it's even annoying for us. There's certain things that you would think would be basic functionality.
Yeah. I was going to say, some evolution hasn't been happening, like dragging features, which is, not being able to sort of drag and reorganize, an outline that you're putting together that you're collaborating on is kind of a huge drawback.
If you're going to collaborate, you've got to be able to actually organize the document, and this is And when you think about it that way, look at how easy it's going to be for us, and we're using it as a collaborative tool for us to just transition straight into something else. A number of other tools. We could go to Google Docs. We could do all of this via Docs so easily, and if Google is having that kind of a sort of cognitive dissonance between its own products, when we could make the transition so seamlessly from Wave into Docs and get actually more features, well, that's a core product marketing problem. Like Wave was never never developed in line with its potential, which is sad. But on the upside, there are some really interesting things that they developed with Wave that I think are going to make it in. And this was probably just as much of a talent sort of reintegration for the Google Wave team to go to these other products and actually incorporate the things that they did on Wave into these other tools, into Gmail, for crying out loud. There are some really cool things out of Wave that they could put into Gmail and into Docs that I think make sense to be there. So there you go. It's sad. The one thing that I think is really sad about it is the integration of Wave as a comment system on a website, right? So you could use Wave to have these real-time discussions in a very streamlined fashion by using Wave as your comment system on posts and pages on a website. And that, I think, is going to be missed. And I think companies like Discuss and Intense Debate are going to need to really kind of pick up the slack of what the promise of Wave held to allow that, again, what we've talked about before, that instantaneous relationships with customers interacting on your site. I think that's really important, and that's sort of the next, dare I say, wave. I dared, and I did it.
You're daring.
Next.
Dane, this is yours.
I know, but I like it when I get an intro from you guys. Just to jump out.
We just gave you an intro.
Dane, right. This is yours, and that should say enough.
Dane, wake up, Dane. You? All right. Well, I wanted something grander, but I was just going to mention, and we'll put this up in the show notes, right, Megan? I think.
We'll put some of it.
We've talked a lot about the Old Spice guy, and then we wondered, hey, obviously with this success, we're going to have more of these great, funny, viral video campaigns. So I'm pretty darn excited that K-Swiss has got Danny McBride's Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down doing their new Tubes shoe. So I don't know what else to say about it, except that I love Kenny Powers. I love Danny McBride. What is
Eastbound and Down? What is Eastbound and Down? I dare you to do this without swearing.
Sure. Yeah, I don't swear. Eastbound and Down was like a 6-episode they had a 6-episode season last year on HBO. It's a collaboration of Will Ferrell and Danny McBride, and I can't remember the other name that does most of the writing, but yeah, little half hour, probably by far the most genius, brilliant comedy, close to Flight of the Conchords, in terms of just overall brilliant comedy. That's what it is. It's a comedy. It's funny. Half hour, 6 episodes, and they're going for season 2 coming up soon. So I don't know what else to tell you. The character actually, Danny McBride's this Kenny Power character, very similar to his character in Foot Fist Way, which was the Sundance film that he kind of got. It sort of launched Danny McBride's career. So,
well, here's what I think is interesting. The character Kenny Powers is that he was retired. He didn't retire. It sounds like he was retired. He was a character that retired from being a professional baseball player. He is the most foul-mouthed, egotistical character that, on television, right? He's just really
delusional narcissist.
He's a delusional narcissist, and K-Swiss is using this character to promote the shoes.
This will really only appeal to Kenny Powers fans, I think. I'm not sure who else is really going to buy in.
Dane, how many people are really? I mean, what is the benefit to K-Swiss to pick this guy as this character as their spokesperson?
Yeah, it's kind of random,
right?
Well, I wasn't even sure K-Swiss was still around, so maybe they can't do this. I don't know. Did you guys know there was K-Swiss was still making shoes? I didn't know that.
K-Swiss was huge in the 8th grade.
It was.
Yeah,
huge in the 8th
exactly. Yeah.
That was a big cheerleader shoe, wasn't it? K-Swiss, a big Megan?
Yeah, it actually was.
About that? Yeah.
But it wasn't
cheerleader,
just a
Megan?
cheerleader shoe. Do we have to go there, Dane?
Can you tell?
Yes, I was.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
There we go.
Wow.
Explains a lot, doesn't it?
Yeah, if you could post some of those pictures to the show
that
notes.
won't happen.
Kenny,
Awesome.
so Kenny Powers is, and so he is this, and the videos that are up on the YouTube channel of K-Swiss are not foul-mouthed. However, there's one on Funny or Die that is
very foul-mouthed,
and foul. It's just downright inappropriate for all audiences.
And the thing about Eastbound and Down, I guess, from my experience, is that you either love it or hate it. For instance, I love it. My wife hates it. So,
doesn't surprise me a bit.
Not the easiest choice, really, for a product spokesperson.
I'm just fascinated by this, but see, sometimes that's the thing. I mean, you talk about taking risks with your product marketing choices. I don't know, how much he was quote courted. I could very well be that Danny McBride was actually banging on K-Swiss's door looking for an endorsement opportunity. But this is one of those things that it's jarring enough that we're talking about K-Swiss again, which wouldn't have happened otherwise.
That's the thing, right?
But the thing is, though, like versus the Old Spice guy that was, innovative and clever and
not offensive,
seemed like it had a product tie. This is just seems.
Oh, there's a product tie here. Come on,
really?
Kenny Powers, athlete.
Yeah.
It seems more sensationalized than
little bit.
It's more sensationalized, but you can tell the difference. I mean, but that really is the difference, right, between hanging your hat on a concept and hanging your hat on clever and interesting, creative. I mean, K-Swiss is hanging their hat on the fact that there is a niche audience of people who like Kenny Powers, and there are people who like Old Spice because it's witty and smart and really cleverly executed.
Right.
I think that aside from the fact that we may have a fractionalized fan base here, or sort of a love or hate kind of a reaction to Kenny Powers himself. I think that the problem is anybody that I know that really likes Eastbound and Down is probably not going to buy a pair of K-Swiss tubes. Regardless of loving Kenny Powers and thinking these commercials are hilarious, I think those are probably not the shoes for those people.
Interesting.
So,
all right.
Yeah.
Peter, why don't you do the next one? Because I think this is right up your
See,
alley.
now that was better, you'll notice, Megan, than Dane. So I'm just saying, Next
in
time.
terms of our competitive segue segment.
Hey, I got something to say before that, though. And we should have talked about it at the beginning of the program. But did you guys realize this is our 20th episode?
Wow.
That's a good point. It makes me think we should go back and post the missing 14th episode.
I thought you did post it.
I didn't. It's not there. I should go back and post it.
That's funny.
It wasn't good. It wasn't a good
So don't
show.
listen to it.
Yeah, but it'll be there. Okay, so Apple removes competitor antenna references on Apple.com. We talked at length about the Apple Antenna Gate issue and how Apple was communicating that. And the issue was that they had an extensive list of major competitive phones from BlackBerry and Samsung and LG that had the exact same antenna degradation or signal degradation issues when you hold certain areas of the phone. And then one night, all of those references and videos disappeared from Apple.com, and now they are gone. And there is much speculation about why they did that, why they took them down. And what do you guys think? Do you think they were listening to this show and they were swayed one way or the other?
Oh, that must have been it.
All right, I like to think so too.
I don't know. I don't know if they got all sorts of phone calls from the competitors.
Oh, I don't think they got phone calls. I think they were much more public about that. I think they. It seems from the press that the competitors got about their little posts and missives and articles about how Apple shouldn't be dragging the rest of the industry down in their mud hole. I don't think people were necessarily calling Apple to complain. I think they were just much more open than that.
Yeah. Well, it kind of goes back to our initial take that. Probably it's not that's not Apple's typical style. So and we sort of all agreed that it's not really their normal MO, but in this case it seemed like they could get away with it because they don't do it very often. And but our sort of general consensus was, as a general rule, we don't feel that that's a great strategy to drag your competitors through the mud. But so maybe they rethought it. I don't know.
I don't know if they rethought it as much as I think it's part of any other, smart campaign, which is, they put it out there for a couple of weeks while there was a great deal of noise and signal around this particular issue, and then they were done. I mean, Apple
they made their point?
I think they made their point. I do. For the people who are going to believe Apple, they made their point. And for the people who aren't, yet another video about another cell phone that has antenna degradation issues is not going to sway them.
But do you think the point was more to the sort of the news outlet sensationalist? I mean, do you think that was maybe more of posting that antenna issue on the website and taking it that far? Was because really, I truly believe that, it was just, it's one of these sort of, you look for trending terms, you find a sensational title, and Apple's saying, yeah, it's not perfect, but none of them are, and here's some proof. And I think that was maybe more who they were trying to speak to with that.
Yeah, but look, I mean, that's the point, right? I mean, those are the audiences that Apple is targeting to sway above and beyond the general user base. I think there are three groups here. One is people who bought the iPhone who are up in the air, right? And for all this press to come out from Apple that says, you know what, we're not alone. This is the issue. Put a bumper on it. Here's your free case. Damn it. And move on and sate the people who are otherwise, thinking, gosh, should I return my phone? I don't know what to do. All right. So those people are either sated or they return their phone, and Apple's policies lived up to, and customer service lived up to that. The second group are the people who, are the press and the media outlets who, have been totally hammering Apple about having antennas that are weak, having made some poor design choices, and really blaming Apple for, the end of the world as we know it. And the third group is, are there any of these laggards out there who, are thinking about a phone and don't, and are rethinking the purchase of their other phones? And maybe as long as everybody's in the crapper, let's move to get a new iPhone and have a better phone experience anyway. Look at all the money we spend on our antenna design labs. I think they're done. I think they made their point and they're able to move on now. And so
here's my question about that, though. Do you think that you don't think there's any discussion about this? You think at the outset they're like, here's what we're going to do. We're going to put this page up for 2 weeks and then we're going to take it down. And that's our strategy.
Yeah.
You do?
I do. So. I do. I think they do, and I think that's because that's what Apple does, and that's what a judicious website operator does. I mean, they left the content up there it is the ageless content, the antenna design stuff, which is the specifically internal about Apple content. They don't need to leave up the mudslinging about BlackBerry and RIM and all that. They don't need to leave that up. I think they made their point.
You're a fanboy.
Oh, yes.
Anyway.
That's the call, the siren call.
Fanboy.
Yeah, well.
So speaking of nothing having anything to do at all with Apple.
Other than the fact that the Apple logo makes me impatient.
That's true. Well, and probably attractive women make you impatient too, but
and both of them make me want to spend money.
Yeah, and not make good financial decisions. So
why did it take that long for that joke to get to nail you guys? That women in Apple make me want to spend money?
I was just trying to digest it.
Okay, wow. So we all, and I don't know that Apple would be considered fast food, but there was researchers out of the University of Toronto found that simply viewing fast food symbols caused measurable increases in impatience. And similarly, as viewing images of attractive women made men impatient. So the whole point of this article is that mere exposure to fast food symbols reduced people's willingness to save and led them to prefer immediate gain over greater future return. So from a marketing perspective, if you prime your subjects to fast food logo or things, or women, I guess, it will cause them to be more attracted to products that save time. So, Pert Plus, one step shampoo conditioner. So we just thought it was interesting. It
is interesting.
Interesting way to think about marketing. I don't know how you might prime your customers with a fast food logo, but food for thought. Food for thought.
Outstanding. I'm trying to figure out. So I'm looking at KFC, McDonald's, and Burger King. I guess what this really means is that it's easier if you are in an industry that is already sort of has the gestalt primed for, behavior. It would be hard, for example, to say show a jeweler's logo and have people, primed to
right. In that
money.
case, you would not want to show a fast food logo because you want people to take more time.
Interesting.
But if you want them to do impulse buy.
Oh, I see. Here we go. Okay, so would a prominent KFC coupon help sell your new time-saving appliance? So buy our appliance and get a free basket or bucket of wings.
KFC, yeah.
KFC, and put the logo in giant, bright red all over your coupon. That's fascinating. So this is a partnership play.
Well, and I also wonder if, sometimes at Walmart you can order McDonald's at the checkout at Walmart. I wonder if that helps their little impulse buy crappy stuff that's in the aisle as well.
I didn't actually know that you could buy fast food at the checkout at Walmart.
Well, in Kentucky you can.
Are you a regular walnut shopper? Are you a regular walnut shopper?
I'm not. I honestly don't remember the last time I was in Walmart.
Dane, are you big Walmart shopper?
I
do
I
have
am not a big
Walmart
shopper.
in Boise?
Boise.
Boise.
I mean Salt Lake.
We do. Yeah, it's a cultural experience in Salt Lake. It's one of the places where you can sort of experience other cultures. Here in this homogenous city. I took my kids there last week, actually. And
Did you order McDonald's at the checkout?
They got to talk to a homeless man. We tried. They did. Truly. I tried. I tried to order some chicken McNuggets and they said, sir, we stopped doing that 2 years ago here.
Oh.
It was like a kiosk though.
Well, Yeah, no, you used to be able to like,
What was that? Pinky, are you thinking what I'm thinking, Pinky?
It makes me laugh on that level.
Yes, brain.
Hey, you know what, guys?
Yeah.
I have a new fountain in my office that I just installed today, a water fountain I bought at Bed Bath & Beyond for $8.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes me want to go to the bathroom.
Is that a segue of some sort?
No. I was just thinking about Walmart, and I thought about my fountain.
That's
And we're
fascinating.
cutting.
That's fascinating. I think we should. I think we should move on to this last story.
Okay,
Don't you?
if you want to bypass my fountain that quickly, feel free.
Well,
I'm not offended. No, it's
no.
not.
I was wondering because that's really the
Great
same sort of
fountain,
behavior we're talking about, right? The behavior of seeing a fast food and wanting to move quickly, and hearing a fountain and having to go to the bathroom. It's sort of
neuro
like I'm 12
science.
and I'm at camp, kind of comparison.
Neuroscientific. Yes.
Excellent.
Okay.
Outstanding.
That was a
So,
story.
Megan, I think this last story is yours. Can you wrap this one up?
No, I actually can't because I don't understand it.
What don't you understand? Come on, Megan. We'll
Okay,
explain
so
it to you.
Okay, so somebody explain this to me. This is my question. Okay, so there's a big New York Times story. Media companies try getting social with Tumblr. So their point is that plenty of traditional media companies are, pumping news updates on Facebook and Twitter, but now they have a new platform. It's called Tumblr. and so I don't get it because Tumblr's a blogging service. So they're just blogging like this is splitting the atom. I just don't understand what is so exciting about this story.
Well,
I feel like I'm missing something.
I don't understand it either. I don't understand it. I don't understand why they're getting this New York Times treatment, other than the fact that the Times is looking to continue to increase its digital coverage, and Tumblr is kind of it's sort of the rage right now. They've made some interesting changes at Tumblr in terms of it really used to be just how quickly can you get your content on the web play? Send an email and you start a blog. Like, you don't even have to set up an account. Your email will start your own web page if you just send an email with your content. So that's interesting. It was clever. And they ended up having a really cool kind of a development path where their whole mission was to let you share with others, but to do so in a way that's longer format than Twitter, that encourages reposting and longer commenting, and more open than Facebook, where you don't actually have to be a member to see the content. So in that respect, Facebook's been getting more Tumblr-like, and Twitter is looking to find new ways to encourage discussion to be more Tumblr-like. But there's Tumblr right in the middle trying to, kind of satisfy both ends. Lately, Tumblr, though, has been making some really interesting evolutionary improvements. They've added pages, they've added premium themes, so you can skin your Tumblr site in all sorts of new ways and make it look more and more like a website, like a full, robust website, with the same ease of use on the back end. So the news here is that major media outlets like the Rolling Stone and Newsweek and these other major media outlets are starting Tumblr logs to post their kind of day-to-day information, their day-to-day kind of news stories and links to try to access yet another audience of folks who are, another niche audience of folks who live their lives on Tumblr. For the same reason that we have our website auto-posting to Twitter and Facebook, they're saying Tumblr is the next site you should be auto-posting to encourage more of that dialogue. So it's interesting, I think, more of a discussion of look at these major media outlets who are investing in these new tools. I mean, don't you think I'm ranting?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think that makes more sense, but it just, I don't know, maybe it was the way the article was written. I just thought, I don't know that blogging is a particularly new platform. So
no, it's not. It's
but
not a new platform.
I guess it makes
important.
sense that it becomes like one of your social media arsenal tools and way to repurpose content, especially for some of these media organizations. So
well, and here's the. No, I mean, you want to just talk about sort of the nascent development of Tumblr as one of the big now three. Mr. Coatney, this is from the Times article, Mr. Coatney, the founder of Tumblr, estimated that posting links and notes to the Newsweek Twitter feed and Facebook page sent roughly 200 to 300,000 readers to Newsweek's website each month. By comparison, Tumblr sent closer to 1,000 links a day. But Tumblr is growing quickly. It says it's adding 25,000 new accounts daily, and each month it serves up 1.5 billion page views. And yet, at 1.5 billion page views, it's not close to either of those two other services.
Right.
So, it's something worth experimentation. I actually played with it this morning after reading this article for the Naked Marketers, just to see, they've added all these new features. Is it another way we could manage this site in an even more kind of open and easier to manage way? Is it easier to manage than WordPress? I haven't quite answered that yet.
Well, you already migrated from Tumblr to WordPress with the site.
I know, but it's still up on.
It's still up on Tumblr.
Yeah,
still exists.
Very, very old. It's very old. So, that's all. What else do we have?
Dane? No. Just kidding.
I want to hear more about Instapaper.
Oh, our tool.
Oh, we got to move on to tools.
Let's move on to tools. So we have a tool. We have a couple of tools. First of all, Megan, you had a tool. What's your tool? I don't want to interrupt your tool.
Several tools.
We have a lot of tools today.
Well, okay. So my first tool that I found on another marketing website, and I don't know if I'm in the Stone Age and didn't realize this existed or if it exists somewhere else, but my first tool was this URL that we'll post on our show notes where you can copy in a URL and it'll turn a web page into a PDF, which is actually quite useful. And ironically, somebody asked me for that last week. They wanted a blog post I'd done on them in a PDF. And I thought, now how am I going to do that and make it look okay? So I was pretty excited that there's just this little thing you can go and it'll turn it into a pretty little PDF. So that was my first tool.
Fascinating. Check that out. I'm doing it right now. You go talk amongst yourselves.
Okay, so my other tool.
Yeah.
This one I actually have been looking for quite some time, and I'm not going to say definitively this is my favorite new tool, but I'm playing with it and I've been pleased so far. I have been looking for something that combines sort of a personal to-do list and a project management tool. And I like project management tools that are online, that are simple to use, that produce good reports and can keep your team on the same page as far as project status and update. So if I'm working on a collective project with 3 people, I want people to be able to know what the major milestones are and who's assigned to what. And to Peter's point when we were discussing this earlier, to not necessarily have to have them download some complicated software to be part of the project in this collaborative tool. So I have been so far relatively pleased with this project management tool called Productive, which is we will also post on the show notes. But one of the things I like about it is that it will translate your tasks into a calendar view, which, because I'm such a visual person, I really like being able to see okay, this week what's coming up versus this linear list of even if it's laid out nicely, I have a hard time with this linear list of things. I just can't get it into my brain. So that's one of the things I like about it. Another thing I like about it is that it will send you email updates of hey, this is what you have due today, which is also kind of nice. You get an email first thing in the morning. Here's what you have to do. And then the other thing that I haven't messed around with, but I know it can do, is you can text or email tasks into Productive and they'll translate it. They'll put it into your project for you with just some simple coding. So anyway, I'm kind of excited about that.
It is really interesting. Now I'm back on first of all, I used createpdf.in to create a PDF of productive.com, which I thought was very meta and quite clever.
That is very meta.
It doesn't, it's interesting how it doesn't handle complex websites terribly well. It strips a lot of the all the formatting out of it. I did my own site too, and it ends up being quite messy. So I'll need to look at that, but it's a very cool tool. Okay, now on to Productive. I was interested because we talked a little bit about how Productive compares with a site like Basecamp, because particularly if you're looking to collaborate with people, how does it actually stand up to, 37 Signals, which is widely touted as the be-all, end-all of simple collaboration tools. What's your take?
Well, my take is, although I really love the simplicity of Basecamp, I can't make it work for me. I don't know. I think part of my problem is that, and I've literally tried probably 5 projects over the past, 2 to 3 years on Basecamp. And, part of my problem is, and it could be some of the people I'm working with, but part of the problem is, even though it's very simple and intuitive, it's to Peter's point, it's this dynamic where you have to have people sign up into Basecamp and they have to create an account and then they have to figure out how to use it. And then to me, it's so pared down that, for example, if I want to, like, I like to be able to run a report to people, like on PDF or something that looks visually, readable. And if I need to be able to email that to people and use it outside of the application, and you absolutely can't do that in Basecamp. Like you could go in and kind of look at the calendar and see what's coming up, but I don't know. It's just a little bit too pared down for my personal taste. So.
Well, and
I really want to like Basecamp. If somebody can show me a better way to use it, I'm all for it. But I just have really had struggled with it.
It is the same thing as like, Salesforce and, what's that? There's that contact one. Do you guys get those emails from people who use that?
Constant Contact?
No. It's one where you put your contact list like in the sky and it syncs with the cloud. And then if everybody else in your contact list is using the same service, then when I change my phone number, for example, it'll automatically update my contact record in your Outlook. Do you get
that's
those
cool.
emails?
I've never seen that.
It's so annoying. It is super annoying because it's once somebody adds you to this list or adds you, it sends you these emails constantly saying, "Hey, you haven't signed up yet. Why not? Please, we really miss
that's
you."
annoying.
It's like the most whiny. And I hate when I'm inflicted into somebody else's service. I'm happy with my services, and as much as I try to inflict my services on others, I don't like it when they do it to me. And so that was the thing about Productive. Does it make me sign up for their service in order for you to use it effectively? And I think that's kind of the golden, the sort of the magic relationship. If you can use it and it interfaces with my life the way I work, that's a smart tool. And that'll allow me to kind of get to know it without having to, pay on our first date. So that's all I have to say about that.
Well, Dane's just sitting there laughing. Talk about your tools. You had some tools.
Oh, okay. So, I'm on vacation. And so I'm kind of taking the time to. I'm still
so I
on
don't have
vacation.
any tools.
No, I'm taking the time to catch up on a lot of things that I have been working or storing up to read and think about, during the day-to-day. And I discovered a long time ago this tool called Instapaper. If you haven't found Instapaper, instapaper.com. What it is it's a tool that allows you to essentially save articles for later. If you're like me, you end up with just way too many windows or tabs open in your browser of all these articles you want to save because you really should read these things. You should digest them later. With Instapaper, you can just click a little bookmarklet on your browser, on your bookmarks bar, and it will save for free this article into your Instapaper account. It'll strip the styling of the website, so it takes off all the most of the ads. And all the visual detritus from the website, leaving you just the text in a very easy to read format, and puts it in your free Instapaper account, which then you can access through the iPhone or iPad, I think BlackBerry apps, that you can, and I'm sure Android as well, apps that you can read on the go. And it has made catching up on long articles just a dream. They've also added folder support to keep your articles organized. So if you have multiple folders, there's actually a bookmarklet that you can add to your bookmarks bar for each folder. So if there's an article about photography, I can click the photography bookmarklet. It'll save it directly to that folder, so I can keep my Instapaper reads organized. So it is really terrific.
I think the one thing that would be helpful with that is versus, like, I have all these articles that I've favorited through Twitter that I want to go back and read. I can there are probably 100 articles in there. I haven't read one of them. So one of the things I think would be helpful with Instapaper is the fact that they strip all the crap off of the ancillary stuff off of the article. And you said they have an iPhone app, right?
Yep,
so that would be helpful to be able to read it as well. So
this
that
thing
might
is
actually
amazing.
Be promising.
I've been using it since you mentioned it earlier today, Pete, and it's incredible.
No wonder you haven't said anything on
this. This is one of the worst things I'm inflicted with on a daily basis is having 3 separate web browsers open with multiple pages and about 10 to 15 tabs per browser by the end of the day. It's crazy.
That's bad.
It's not quite that bad, but it can get bad. And I'll get back to that one later. Gosh, the fact that not only can you just save this and then close it and you can, go about being productive and not have a bunch of tabs open, but when you go to open it, you can just do a text version, no ads, no it's like a nice, clean, easy, readable format. This is really a brilliant little application, I guess.
It is. It's. I'm so glad to hear you say that. It is really fantastic. In terms of my workflow from there, if I'm in Instapaper, I then and there's an article I want to keep forever and ever, I send it to Evernote, and it goes into my Evernote database forever and ever, and it just makes
look at that.
I know, right? It's like I live inside myself. It's so meta. Anyway,
very cool.
It is terrific.
Very cool.
So, and then the only other thing I just want to sort of celebrate for a bit, because I'm a task management application
geek
lover, is
Junkie.
OmniFocus for the iPad was released from the Omni Group this week, and it is absolutely awesome. Check out www.omnigroup.com and look for OmniFocus for iPad. I'm telling you, it's better than the desktop app. It doesn't have all the features, but in terms of managing your day-to-day workload, it is better than the original. And I hope they bring a lot of all of the tools that they've introduced exclusively in the iPad app back to the desktop app, because they are really terrific. And congratulations to the Omni Group team. They did a great job on this app. That's all I have to say about that. What do you guys have? Anything else to report on the week?
I think that's about it.
Nice.
I feel like we covered quite a bit.
I think we
had
have
4 tools.
4 tools, yeah. It's a quad tool show.
Wow.
So let's just assume, Dane, that people have listened to this show and still want to find out more about you. Where would they go?
Yeah, I would assume that. They can like me on Facebook. I think they should. Strike 10 Media, or just visit me, read my blog, strike10media.com.
Or go to your house. While you're there, you could hang out. Or while you're not there.
Or rig your detergent with a GPS device.
Right.
And then
could do that.
You could do that. Was that a yawn? Did you just yawn?
Might catch me riding my scooter back and forth betwixt.
How about you, Meg? Where would you like people to go to see you?
I'm on the Twitter at Megan Strand, and my website and blog is Encouraged, which is INCOURAGED.com.
And I am at Pete Wright on the Twitter and at fifthandmain.com on the internet. You can find out more about the show at thenakedmarketers.com. And make sure to click on the subscribe link to subscribe in iTunes. Make sure that you are getting the show automatically every single week in iTunes without missing a single beat. It wasn't a laugh line, but I'm glad you liked it.
I liked automatically. Try and say it fast.
You can't.
You try it.
I already failed.
Do it again, Megan.
I added Matrix in there, so I don't even know if I
automatically. This is deteriorating quickly. On behalf of Megan Strand, Dane Christensen, I'm Pete Wright. Thank you so much for listening to another episode of The Naked Marketer.